If you guys have ever thought about fasting and what it's actually like to do it, we're going to explain that because Dean, me, and Jill have recently been doing a lot of fasting. And just as a disclaimer, I think we have to do this. If you are fasting or doing anything to your health, you need to consult your medical doctor or whoever, because we are not doctors. We're just going to tell you our experience, which is pretty phenomenal if you are considering fasting, and all of the health benefits that go along with it. And Jill, well, actually all three of us have just attempted, one of us succeeded with a 72-hour fast.
Hey.
So, but before we get started, we're going to show a little clip of two doctors talking about the benefits of fasting for you guys that are not aware of the major health benefits of that. So go ahead and play that.
If you do a 7-day water fast, the studies done in Boston at the university showed that your lifetime probability of getting cancer is reduced by more than 70%. Some studies even higher. Because the cells that are going to die off in the state of the fast are going to be your cancer cells.
Isn't that amazing? It's just amazing. We're going to do one more clip. Go ahead and play that.
Everybody thinks that fasting is like the worst thing you could do. When you actually look at the science of what happens during fasting, it's actually one of the best things you can do for yourself from both a mental standpoint and a physiologic standpoint. So one guy was reading a book entirely from memory. Another guy learned all of Norwegian in a week. This is simply the mental clarity of starvation. If you think about the number of diseases that you can make better, heart attacks, strokes, cancer, diabetes, the secret to managing all of these things is not more medicine and surgery. It's less. It's actually within our grasp because fasting is free to every single person on earth. If you get hungry, then you either stay busy, keep doing stuff. Don't just think about how hungry you are. The other strategy is to get something like green tea or coffee that you can drink. If you fast for 24 hours, your growth hormone level is like 4 times what it is when you're eating. Yeah, it's like renovating your body, right? So all the cells in your body undergo this process of regeneration that you're not going to get if you are eating all the time.
So this stuff is really fascinating to me. Jill started talking me into fasting because she was reading, what's her name?
Mindy Peltz.
Mindy Peltz. She's Dr. Mindy Peltz. And she started giving me all this information. And I was like, man, I think I need to fast. And then we started talking to Dean about it. And Dean's like, hey, I think I'm going to fast. And then it's been pretty amazing. So I defer to the expert at the table on fasting.
No, we're not going there. This has only been a month. What's funny is that Dean and I came across this Dr. Mindy Peltz. These are her books that I've already read, Fast Like a Girl and The Menopause Reset. But Dean and I came across this lady on the exact same day in 2 different parts. And we figured that out. She's really fascinating. But if you think about fasting, because a lot of people are like, oh, I can't do that. But our ancestors did it. I mean, they hunted for food and then they would feast and then they would have to fast for days until they found that next big meal. And then they would feast again and fast. That's just how our bodies are designed. And it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. As she states, it's a healing state of the body. It can really do some massive healing to the body.
What was your experience attempting to do a 72-hour fast?
I did not plan properly. I found out that not having a plan made it extremely more difficult for me.
What kind of plan would you implement?
Fluids. Just the simplest thing. What are you going to drink during it? Are you going to, for me, because I watched a lot of Dr. Mindy Peltz, I've watched a lot. So I decided after 24 hours, I went, yeah, this is pretty rough. So I started watching her YouTube's clips and I went out and bought ginger. And I already had lemons at the house, so I made ginger water. I bought some bubbly mineral water. And
did that help cure your hunger pains?
It broke the boredom, and it did. The ginger and lemon water definitely broke the hunger pains, but the hunger pains were there and then they would go, you know.
How about your energy level during the process?
It came and went, but I had a lot because I do a lot with my animals outside.
Right.
It was come and go. I mean, it didn't make me tired where I couldn't move or anything like that at all. It was just a little bit.
What happened that made you break your fast early?
My mental clarity going to a doctor the next day. I had a doctor's appointment with a doctor I'd never seen before. And so I really just wanted to be in my right frame of mind. You know, I wanted all of my mental clarity to be focused at that doctor's meeting. My mental clarity all throughout the fast, I could never feel a cloudy, like my mind cloudy, but I could notice when I was exceptionally clear-headed.
How about you?
So
How
you
was-
did. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So you didn't get dizzy or lightheaded or nauseous
Oh, sure.
or fatigued,
Oh, yeah.
and you didn't feel like you needed to break it at that time?
No, because those feelings really didn't last that long. I mean, the nausea, I was just like, you know, wait. And then because I did hit the coffee a little bit then with some MTC oil, which Dr. Mindy said, and that, you know, just that little fat, the MTC oil with the coffee, it kind of took the hunger pains away.
Did you have a way to check your glucose and ketones?
No.
No.
See, the experience for me, Jill was talking about this preparation, like you need to do 24 hours and then maybe a 48 hours. And in my mind, I'm just one of those, let's do it kind of guys. I'm like, well, I'm just doing 72 hours. I'm like, yeah, me man.
Right.
So I just jumped right into it because she continued to tell me all the health benefits after a 72-hour fast, all the stem cells getting released in the body. And so I just thought, well, I'm just going to go right for the stem cells. Let's go for the goal. And the first 24 hours for me was really pretty simple because, like my buddy Andrew says, he will do fasting, but not on purpose. Mm-hmm. You know, just you get busy during the day, you just don't grab lunch and you forget about it. And then, you know, you get home, you're tired, you just go to sleep. And then you're like, oh man, you know, I didn't eat today. But so for me, that first 24 hours was really nothing. And then the second day was holy hell. I was like, man, I am hungry. And I just started, I drank probably a little over a gallon of water on the second day. And I tried to spread it out so I didn't have water toxicity. Mm-hmm. And then she gave me the suggestion from one of the books she was reading that I should put like a shot glass, you know, like a shot of tequila, you know, and I put it in a rocks glass, filled it with water, put a little sea salt in it, and drank it. I thought it was the most delicious thing I'd ever had, and it curbed my hunger. I started getting a little brain fog, and my energy level was okay. It kept going up and down. But I was really irritated. It was really easy for somebody to piss me off. Like, so anytime I was, you know, I get a lot of phone calls all day and I'm dealing with a lot of people typically during the week. And man, it was all I could do from just going, are you stupid? It was just like really irritating. And my buddy Ricky back there, every time he saw me throughout the day, he goes, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine, Ricky, I'm fine. It was really hard that second day. But then one thing that nobody told me was, and this is very vital for you people, I believe, is don't trust passing gas. Don't trust it. It's bad. Because I accidentally did the number 2 all over myself, not just once, but twice. And it was not pleasant. I was like, man, somebody should have told me to wear Depends. I was like, I didn't think this was supposed to happen until in my 90s. Like, wow.
And I'm glad you told me about that too.
Yeah, I mean, it was really something, and I had a friend of mine who got inspired by me doing it, and so he did it, but I forgot to tell him, and he called me and cussed me. He said, "Why didn't you tell me about this crap?" And I was like, "Sorry, dude, I forgot." but it's a real thing, and your water, you're flushing out your colon and resetting your gut. And then the third day wasn't near as bad as the second day. And plus I knew at 5:30 I was going to be eating, and that like 2 hour or so stretch before, man, my body was like, "Oh, dude, you stay away from the pantry. I mean, you got 2 hours left, man. You got 2 hours left." And so to come off of that, Jill, from her reading these different doctors on fasting, said I had to drink bone broth to kind of get my gut going back, and then eat a probiotic. So I had some yogurt with a little blueberries, and that was the best yogurt I had ever had. I mean, it was better than any steak. It was just over the top delicious. And I was savoring every bite. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is so good." But when I finished this little bitty cup of yogurt, I was so full. I mean, I felt like I'd been at a buffet at Golden Corral where I couldn't stop. I mean, it was like, wow, was I full. And then I just felt great for about a week. I mean, it's great. And the side effect of all of those stem cells being released in my body was I've had a pain in my left elbow that has been just a very aggravating pain for years from all this martial arts training and just beating the hell out of it. It's totally gone. Like, I mean, totally. Anytime I'd move my elbow like this, you could hear it pop. And Jill hears it pop all the time when we work out. It hadn't popped at all. Like, this was a little painful. Hold my arm up to do that, man, it's nothing. Like, it just went away. I was like, this is weird. So now it makes me want to do another one, but Jill says I shouldn't do one for like several more months.
Well, she recommends that you shouldn't do these long fasts more than 2 or 3 times a year.
Man.
But why don't you tell how much weight you lost in those 3 days?
Oh, in 3 days, I lost almost 17 pounds. And it just fell off. And one of the greatest side effects of it was I went on that third morning when I went to put my jeans on. I've been wearing what I refer to as my fat jeans. And so I, because my weight has always kind of fluctuated just a little bit. So I was in my fat jeans, and I'm kind of irritated about wearing my fat jeans. And I went to put them on, and they literally were falling off. I mean, I could pull my pants out, and I had a gap like that. I was like, "What the hell?" And so I stood on the weigh measurement thing, and I was like, "Holy crap! I just lost 17 pounds." And so then I just smiled to myself in this kind of mental fog, and I was hoping I wouldn't have to pass gas. And so I went to the closet and got my skinny jeans, and I was like, "Yes, sir." And then I put my skinny jeans on, and even they were a little baggy, and I was like, "Yeah, this is nice." And the weight has primarily stayed off. And now, how long ago did I do that?
Has it been a week and a half?
Oh, yeah, for sure, 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks for sure. And I think I've gained back like 4 pounds, but I started almost for a full week. Anything that was bad for me to eat was repulsive. Like what I intuitively know is bad, like chips or, just like it's repulsive. But then I had my buddy Steve come, and all of a sudden, because he's such a bad influence, all of a sudden we go eat Mexican food twice, and what do? There's like a stack of, me and him look like 2 hogs in the trough. And so I've gained back just a few pounds, but man, the way I feel after that has had lasting changes, and how I think, and I feel like there's a mental clarity. I feel like my body has just been totally flushed out doing a full 72 hours. And I'm anxious to do it again because now I know what to expect.
That's a big thing. That's the biggest thing for me, was not knowing what to expect, failure to plan. Mineral water was a lifesaver. Like, you're the best, yogurt you ever had, that bottle of San Pellegrino was like, it was really good. That I can tell you. But
Yeah, I just found it, and the taste of food changed for me after a 72-hour fast. For that, especially after the first 3 or 4 days, my body was really in tune to, like, I didn't want any meat, and I love meat. So for some reason, my body was just totally rejecting the idea of eating any meat. Well, that changed after about a week, and my body was like, no. Because in my mind, I thought, well, I'm going to go get some type of beef. Like, I just like eating beef. I like eating just a hamburger patty, and that's it. Like, that, to me, that is a wonderful, awesome meal. And as soon as I thought about that, it was like my gut was telling my heart and brain, you are not going to eat it. Like, my body was telling me. It was like, no. I was like, okay. And it didn't sound appetizing at all. Like, it did not it felt wrong to my body. And my body was just like, no, you're not going to eat that. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I should listen to you. And so I just kept eating yogurt because it was so good. And I kept putting the blueberries in it. And I used to, like, when I've ate yogurt for years, I put a little honey on it because I just love honey. But I didn't want any honey. I just wanted the blueberries and yogurt, and I was so happy. It was like a kid going to, when McDonald's used to be so good when you were a kid getting a Happy Meal. I was like, man, this is the best yogurt. I was just all happy and giddy to be eating it. But I just was amazed at the side effects health-wise. Like I would have not believed my elbow would have healed itself by a 72-hour fast. I would have said you're crazy. I was like, no. It's kind of like that podcast we were talking about last week, where people, through their mental focus and their mental belief from a placebo, how they cure themselves. But I wasn't thinking in my mind that I was going to be cured of any of my aches and pains. Like, I did not go into the fast thinking I'm going to fix my elbow. But one of the side effects of this elbow being fixed now is I never realized I had a pain in my right elbow. But now that I don't have a pain in this one, I realize that I got a pain in this one. I'm like, all right, well, this is bullshit. And it makes you think, like, we have so many tools that just the infinite, this magical universe we live in has given us, and that we don't, as a large people, we mostly don't consider and think about all the tools available to us to help us be healthier, to help us use our minds, to surround ourselves with people that make us exercise our thoughts so that we can, like how we did. The three of us all did it basically at the same time. We just came together and said, hey, let's try this out.
Well, that's because you can throw a pill at it. Here, take this. This will fix this. Take this. Here's another one.
Right. And it takes a group of people gathering together to talk about all these different ideas and to see and filter out for yourself what may or may not be true. And it was true for me that I don't have an elbow pain anymore. And it didn't hurt. Like, me and Jackson have been, and a couple of others will train on Wednesdays for martial arts. And when we're just messing around, I have to, like, hide the pain, like, I'm just so used to it. And now it's just not any pain. Now I'm like, hey, look, let's go. I'm ready to throw your ass on the ground. Let's get after it. And I love that.
Except for the other elbow now.
Yeah, my other elbow now. And luckily it wasn't as bad. I was hoping, because Jill was telling me about the stem cells rebuilding the body, I was really thinking it would help my lower back. I was like, man, I hope this stuff helps my lower back. But instead, my elbow gets fixed. So I don't know how that.
You can't complain.
Yeah, so I don't know how that works, but I'm really grateful that it did. And I would recommend a lot of people, like, because I didn't go in it to lose any weight. I just knew these. Jill gave me these big list of health benefits. And I was like, well, I like being healthy. I think we need to treat our bodily temple. It's the only vehicle we have to love and communicate and to live. So as we get older, we get more gimped up. So if we're not taking care of ourselves and trying these things to see what works for us, then we're doing ourselves a disservice.
Well, speaking of the bodily temple, if the kingdom of God or the divine lives within you, why are you keeping such a dirty house? Why not throw fast at it and clean it up?
Amen. That is a very, very good
there's
point.
multiple religions that practice fasting for spiritual purposes.
Oh man, yeah, and especially
Ramadan, they fast from sun up to sundown. They can only eat after dark for that 30 days when they practice that.
yeah, there's so many. It's an ancient practice
Absolutely.
of fasting, and why? We just automatically discount ancient Chinese medicine. We discount the Native American Indians and their practices of fasting and sweating and all of those things. We just say, oh, y'all are crazy. Oh, that's what we did in the Stone Age. That's before you had
Pills.
any knowledge. But we get conned into this belief system, and because primarily we don't understand the importance of that. I mean, imagine if as Anglo Americans, when we came to this country, we absorbed some of those lessons from the Native Americans and how they lived and how they had a respect for Mother Earth and water and how fasting and their sweat houses and the health benefits of the tools they knew and are understood still. And those same practices are around the world. And here in the U.S., we're like, fasting, get out of here.
Well, we're so conditioned to breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack here, snack there, snack bed. You've got that insulin going up and down all day long, and the cells get flooded, and there's nowhere for that insulin or glucose to go, so it's stored as fat.
Yeah, and I mean, what did we say? Where were we yesterday? And we're looking around, we're like, man, everybody in this room is obese.
Those in Longini's.
Oh, yeah.
Probably 85-90%.
And I'm like, geez, man.
And I was looking up some stats, and let's see. Where is it? U.S. is in the top of the fattest country. 2 out of 3 adults are overweight, and 1 out of 3 are obese. That's like 70% of the population of adults are overweight or obese.
Well, it's become acceptable in this country.
Well, there's a McDonald's on every corner. I mean, and I think this said in the past 30 years, it's increased by 70%.
And a lot of people gain weight because of all the medication they're on. And falsely so. I mean, like it's a false reason to be taking medicine in a lot of cases, and that's just my opinion. You consult your own physician and take what poisons you decide are good for you. But I think it's a bad epidemic of trying to think, oh, I can fix everything with this little pill, instead of working on yourself. If you have high anxiety, instead of taking whatever, Xanax, why not try some meditation? Why not try having open communication with others that are giving you high anxiety, instead of thinking I'm gonna pop a pill? It's a fake crutch.
Well, I'm not making excuses, but I feel like we're having to work longer hours. We've got our kids that are in all these sports, so we're not home. We get home at dark, we run through a drive-through, we eat that, we sit on the couch, we don't go outside and hang out in nature and exercise and stuff. Moms are having to work.
It's a massive disconnect.
So there's nobody at home cooking a healthy meal. I mean, it's like a drive-by, usually a drive-through.
Yeah, it's a drive-through society.
I mean,
and done by design.
The kids ate
Little Caesars.
yeah, it was $5.
All right.
$5 pizza multiple times a night, because I came in, I'd worked 12-hour shifts. I came in at nighttime, and it was just easy.
Yeah, well, and then that goes to why it's important, and part of what we do in Gathering here is talking about some of this historical context of why are we in this situation and how do we get out, because we have been conditioned to hurry up and go get your degree so you can hurry up and go work for somebody else. We've largely lost the entrepreneurial spirit. We're to hurry up and do what you're told, hurry up and get in line, and we're losing our connection with Earth. We're losing our connection with others. Most people don't understand what it is to actually communicate your thoughts and emotions. And there's a lot of fear in that, because if we don't practice it, then all of a sudden, what if I talk to you, Dean, and you don't want to hear me, or there's some rejection, and all of a sudden I feel rejected, and then I don't feel any love, and or same way with me and you. So we got all these problems that are largely not talked about in this country. And that's what we're doing here. So if this resonates with you, you should come out and see us. We're here every Sunday about 1:15. Oh, and if I don't say it, happy Thanksgiving.
Now we're going to feast.